Hello there. Welcome. My name is Dr. Michael Strickland, and I have a confession to make. I'm a little worried about your joints. I'm a little worried about how you're moving and what that's going to lead to in the future. Now, I am a physical therapist. I have been doing it for 12 years now, and I can tell you I've seen a lot of stuff, and over the course of time, I just can't help but come to the conclusion that the way we teach people to move when they're younger, while done with the best of intentions, is incorrect. And I was in that same boat. But what I'm going to be doing here is talking to you about how we're getting things wrong, and then some fairly simple steps you can take to improve and potentially avoid degenerative pains and changes that people just assume are a normal component of aging, because I don't know if they absolutely have to be in all circumstances. Now, before we move forward with all the stuff that we're going to be talking about, I do want to point out a very important thing, and that's how we learn. Now, there's a number of ways that you learn, and you've probably heard all about this before, but I'm going to cover it really quick. You can speak, hear, write, read, see, do. There's probably a few more in there, but those are really the biggest ones. And of those 6, it really takes you doing at least 4 in order to really learn any new material. Now, these videos are going to give you at least 3 of those. You're going to be hearing me speak to you, of course, so hearing is covered. And you're going to be seeing pictures, seeing diagrams, maybe even some videos. There's actually one in this slideshow where you're going to be able to use the visualization. And then hopefully you'll be doing the things that I ask you to do, the exercises, so to speak, because everybody loves their exercises. But that leaves 3 left, of which you need to choose at least 1. Now, speaking about it, that's kind of teaching it to other people. That's going to be hard to do, because how are you supposed to speak about it to somebody when you don't really know everything about it in the first place? So really, you could take notes and cover it by writing. That'd be great. But not everybody likes taking notes. And you might be listening to this in the car, which I don't really recommend, but whatever floats your boat, that's fine. Reading then. And I have written a book with all of this information in it. You can find the links down below in the description of this video. So go down there. It's through Amazon. You can actually read the book for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So go do that and kind of read as I'm going along with these videos and all of that good stuff. Now, I want you to ask yourself if the series is for you through a number of questions. Do your knees hurt you when you're out doing things maybe in the yard or on the weekends with your family? Is there knee pain that is holding you back from doing as much as you would like? If it's not your knees, it could be your back, it could be your shoulder, it could be your neck. Those are really the biggest places that I see these start at. And then they usually tend to travel down from there. If not, or you don't really see any problems at the moment, maybe they're just getting sore, then that is kind of what I'm talking about. Maybe ask yourself, can you do this? So you can see me right here in the video going all the way down, coming all the way back up. Down and up. Can you do that smoothly? Can you do that comfortably? Can you do that with your heels on the ground? Down and back up again. Smooth, safe, comfortable, confident. Now, I could not do that when I was younger, mid-20s even. I would want to get to my toes. It would be very uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to sit down there very long because I wasn't using the right muscles. But it only took me learning 3 different parts of my body in order to do just that. That's what this series is going to teach you about. But we can't dive right into that. First, we need to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because there's going to be a couple of words that are going to come up time and again, and I want to make sure that we all understand what I'm talking about when I say them. The first is posture. Now, we've heard a lot of different things about posture over the course of our lives, I'm sure, and I know that because I've heard a lot of crazy things when I ask my patients, what is posture? And I can tell you right now, posture has nothing to do with presentation. It's not standing tall. It's not sucking in your gut, throwing back your shoulders, walking rigidly. It has nothing to do with how our muscles are holding us up or what we're trying to look like when we're standing. Instead, posture is actually related to how our body accepts the weight of gravity and passes it from the highest point of our body, usually the top of our head, down to the floor through our feet. Now, there is a picture on the screen right now, and it's that skeleton picture. It's a pretty iconic picture. It's pretty classic if you've ever done any anatomy class. And it's the front, the side, the back. Now, if you didn't know this, if you look really closely at the picture, there's this black line that's going from the top with a little arrow down at the feet. That's called a plumb line. That is gravity. And what this picture is actually showing us is how we want gravity to go through our body. Now, gravity as a force, it is acting on us all the time. Thank God, so we don't float away. However, what that line passes through as it goes straight through our body is showing you where you're going to have to accept that weight and resist it so that you don't fall down. Now, in the picture, when you're doing it correctly, you can see that that black line goes through your neck, bypasses the middle part of the spine, and that's on purpose. That's okay. We want that. Through the lower part of our spine, into the long bones of our legs, pretty much right through those, both above the knee and below it, and then finally through the feet into the ground. Essentially, if you think about this picture, what that means is your ear hole and that hard bump on the outside of your ankle called your lateral malleolus, those two need to be lined up directly underneath each other. If you do that, that black line of gravity in the picture is now going through bones. That's going to make it much easier to resist the force of gravity. But if that line shifts, or if really we shift underneath that line and we start to bend our bones out of that straight up and down position, then our muscles have to take over and hold us up instead. And what that's like is, imagine that you're standing there holding a 50-pound box of stones. You're going to be able to do that for a little bit. But eventually, if you don't do anything else, that box is going to start getting pretty heavy and you're not going to want to hold on to it anymore. Proper posture would be like, instead of just holding the box with your hands, let's say you find a log, you set the log down, and you put the box on top of the log. Now all you really need to do is hold the log steady. That's way easier to do, and you can hold that log steady a lot longer than you can just hold that 50-pound box of rocks, right? That's what we need to do, and it really means that poor posture is easy to see. Look at these pictures here. I tried to stand in a number of different ways that I see most often in my patients, and then I put a red line through there so that you could see. For instance, in one of the pictures, my knees are bent a little bit. Now that means that that line of gravity cannot go straight through those bones. It's going to go through muscles, and my muscles had to turn on and hold me there. So now they're working a lot harder than they would have to. And wherever that line goes, back of the neck, behind the knees, in front of the knees, straight through the legs when they're just bent, it doesn't matter. We want to avoid that completely. And actually, that brings me to the very first exercise, the very first thing I want you to start practicing with. I want you to feel this in action. Stand up and just get into different positions. Feel how you can put the weight through different muscles just by how you're standing. And then imagine 15, 20 minutes. You could do it if you want. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not going to tell you what to do exactly. If you want to do that, fine. But think about what it's going to feel like after a period if you do that. It's going to start to burn. It's going to start to ache. Your muscles are going to get sore, which means you are exercising them excessively by just standing there and doing nothing else. We don't want to live that way. We need to find the way to hold ourselves up so that we can do it by putting the weight through the bones, and then all we have to do is hold the bones in place. So that's posture. But there's also biomechanics. Now, biomechanics differs because it is not about static positioning like posture. Posture is just when we're not moving, in my opinion. And that's how I'm going to use posture. Biomechanics is how we actually perform and function with something as simple as just turning to wash our hands at the sink, let alone walking, sitting, standing, stooping. Well, not standing, but stooping. Well, standing up, I guess, yes. All of that kind of stuff. Any motion, that's biomechanics. So we have posture, we have biomechanics, and now we understand those two things. So we can start to move on for sure. But what is the next step? I'm sure everybody wants to get to each piece of this puzzle that we're eventually going to get to. There's really only 3 muscles, like I said, and I want to get there as quickly as possible. But to really drive home just how important this is, the first thing we have to do after this is talk about how our muscles work, how they break down, how they build back up, how that helps us keep our size, the muscle mass, and the strength, what happens when we overdo it, all of that kind of stuff. So that's it for this video. I hope you got this far. I appreciate it. Leave a comment, a like, a share if you know anybody like this who'd be interested in this sort of series. Because, I mean, pretty much everybody, from what I've seen, needs to hear this. And again, if you want to get the book and do the reading as well as listening to these videos and doing all of the activities and stuff, that's a great thing to do. There's more in the book than I'm probably going to cover in these videos. And again, those links are down below. Now, I've been Dr. Strickland. I appreciate you very much, and I will speak with you again very soon.